Welcome, Elisa. I'm elated to have you here at the Hues in Business podcast. Welcome, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Melanie. I am thrilled to be here with you and talk amazing things.
And can I start off by just sharing how brilliant the mural is behind you? Who did that?
It is a background that was created for my 5-year anniversary for my one of my businesses called Covedosa. We celebrated 5 years, May of 2025. And the symbol you see behind me is actually the Covedosa symbol, right? As you know, some brands, they have icons, they have symbols that represent them. So the symbol that represents Covedosa is a woman looking at the stars, looking up at the moon, which is what she's doing right there with her hands extended for abundance, extended for to welcome just all the blessings. So yeah, I love it. I love the visuals of the brand.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And I
Thank
did
you.
notice it as I was enjoying your podcast, now available on YouTube. So subscribe. It is called Covedosa,
Yeah.
Covedoza. Elisa, you are incomparably phenomenal.
Sorry.
I would love for everyone to know about your brilliant, distinctive journey as a
Mhm.
professional.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you come with fierceness that I admire endlessly. So please share as much as you'd like regarding your entire journey and all the way up through how you are blessing the lives of young women along with the rest of your board members with Latina Lead. So if we could just take it one step at a
Absolutely.
time. Okay.
Yes. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. I love podcasts and love connecting with other incredible leaders like yourself, Melanie. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Elisa Molina. I consider myself to be a multi-passionate mompreneur. So I am a mom. I have a beautiful 8-year-old who keeps me very busy. So those parents listening, I'm sure you can relate. I also am an avid dancer. I love to dance. I'm actually of Dominican descent. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, and my family immigrated to the United States, specifically the Bronx in New York, when I was 12. So I basically finished my education here in the US. I did high school in the Bronx, and then I got accepted into a 4-year institution called Buffalo State University. That's where I did my bachelor's in small business administration. And the journey has truly been of great learning. And it's been of a lot of grit, a lot of perseverance. As you know, immigrants, parents come with very little. So what you have access to is also very little. And a lot of us do not really start working either on ourselves, be it financially, be it healing, whatever that may be it like becoming an entrepreneur until later in life. Like I honestly did not start, I truly, if I remember correctly, did not start thinking about entrepreneurship until after my 30s, to be honest with you. Yes. So I have a couple of things. I am a business owner. I have two businesses. One of them, which is how we met, Melanie, it was an honor to work with you. It was through Covedosa, and Covedosa is my e-commerce business. So anyone interested in e-commerce, the answer is yes. It is a great way to get your ideas into action and test them out, right? Through physical products. So Covedosa is a social impact and cultural brand. We are dedicated to building a legacy of ambitious Latinas who are leaders in their workspaces, at home, in their business, in their creative fields. And we inspire confidence. We celebrate culture. So there are two collections that we have on the website right now called Latina CEO, because we want to uplift the voices of women in leadership, specifically within the Latino community. And we do that with products, selling physical products through our collections. Those are actually designed by other Latina creatives. So we basically launch collections that are designed by artists of color, and we print them and share their stories. We share who designed them, who made them, And the idea is that we invest resources in the community, right? So who prints my products, especially when I have events, I try to do it locally, right? So that I can reinvest my resources in the community itself, which has been great. And then in 2024, I had the opportunity to be a presenter at a women's conference through the Latin American Association here in Georgia. By the way, I'm in Georgia. Woohoo! And I was a presenter for the women's conference that is hosted annually by the Latin American Association. And I did a presentation in the ballroom. They gave me the ballroom, which was huge. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. It really helps you visualize the things that you can do when the people that believe in you put you in the rooms that they know you should be in, right? So I presented about small business grants, which the Latino community is very skeptical about still to this day. They don't believe free money, free capital that you do not have to pay back is actually available. So there's a lot of education that has to be done in just in communities of color in general, right? Because we are underfunded and underrecognized. So thanks to that experience, somebody noticed me and she said, that's going to be my business partner. And for 3 months, she was like, hey, can I meet with you? Can I meet with you? And I was like, I'm too busy. I'm sure like if anybody listening, they probably are putting off a coffee chat or an informal conversation with someone that's really interested in working with them or learning about them. Don't wait too long. You may not know what you're missing because once I connected with this person, we are now business partners and we launched a project that is specifically for the Spanish speaking Latino community here in the US. It's called Credit Grants Academy. And I love it. I'm in love with it because what we're doing is that we're trying to minimize the financial gap that exists within the Latino community, especially for entrepreneurs, through education such as workshops, in-person events, where we educate them about the importance of fixing your personal credit and what is credit in the U.S. and why is it so important to take care of it, right? And understand that, you go through ups and downs with your credit, which is fine, is life, right? But you have to make sure you protect it, you take care of it. But also the fact that business credit exists. A lot of people don't know that personal credit is one thing, and your business also has a credit score through the DUNS sheet. So we decided to join forces, and in 2024 we launched, I think it was December, our very first workshop, and it was very well received in the community. That's how we realized, wow, there's a really big need to talk about access to capital, to talk about the challenges that communities of colors are experiencing to start up a business and or to grow and scale their businesses. So we launched Credit Grants. It's turning 2 years this year, and we're very proud of what we've accomplished. And it was truly thanks to someone believing in me, seeing my potential, and saying, hey, I would love to do something with you. And for me to say yes was a great decision.
And that is for both men and women. I think it's
Yes,
very important to men and women, Spanish speaking.
yes,
That's what the ebook is associated with. That's available on the website. That
yes. Oh,
yeah,
my baby, my baby.
quality.
Yes. I decided. So the reason I know about small business grants, it's because I am how can you say it? I am an example of the grants that you are worthy of as an entrepreneur of color that you can receive. So Covedosa actually is turning 6 years in 2026. I registered the business in 2020 during COVID. And I actually learned about grants as a result of COVID because a lot of small businesses, particularly, they were highly affected, right? A lot of businesses closed and so many things were happening to small businesses that big corporations that were actually making a lot of money during COVID decided to invest their dollars into the community. And they knew that the community was built by small businesses that were struggling. So I earned my very first small business grant, and my very first one, which was unofficial because I didn't even know it was a grant. I just thought it was money that somebody was giving to me. It was actually $1,000 grant from a lawyer, actually, that's very well known in Atlanta. She's called the Biz Lawyer. Um, and every year she blesses her community, and her business is Black owned, and she actually became my trademark lawyer later in the years because I had to trademark. Once I learned about the importance of protecting your brand through trademark, I was like, oh my God, I have to stop investing so much money in Covedosa, and I have to make sure I own it, which I do. So in 2019, she closed the year with a grant, and I didn't even know it was a grant. I just answered her questions, applied online because she does it through social media, and then she selected the winner at a summit that she hosted to close out the year, and Covedosa was winner. That I didn't even know was a grant until COVID happened, and grants started to become more of a thing for small businesses. And that's when I make the connection. And I was like, wow, what the biz lawyer did was actually a representation of a private company, right? A corporation investing in their community through small business grants. So since 2020, I've applied to over 60 grants. I'm going to say right now, we're in 2026, almost to 100. And I have received about $58,000 in grants over the course of those 5 years. So to those listening, if you right now have learned about grants and you keep applying and you keep not getting them, do not give up. It's become very competitive, but it does not mean your time is not coming. Okay. So just persevere, continue to apply. The more grants you apply a month, the higher the probability of you getting a grant. Okay. So thank you, Melanie. Again, all of this, I teach you about it on my ebook. It's called Funded by Elisa Molina. And I'm very proud of that work because everything I learned over the course of 5 years, I was able to put it in writing and share it in that ebook.
I really want um, listeners and viewers to understand the full context of your strength as a leader, serving the Peace Corps. You
Mm.
were serving the community. You were exercising your philanthropic strength in that role. Would you mind just kind of taking us back to even years before COVID? You were bridging gaps culturally.
Oh, absolutely. No problem. So the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps, when I actually learned about the Peace Corps. Let me take it all the way back because one of my sorority sisters in college, her name is Dr. Santville. She applied and she was a Peace Corps volunteer. She experienced the program and she kept telling me, Elisa, you should look into it. You should look into the Peace Corps. I think you're going to love it. But of course, life gets in the way and you don't do what people typically encourage you to do. And then after I graduated college in 2008, I needed a place to stay. So I decided to move to Washington, D.C. with a friend of mine who got accepted into American University for public policy, Nairobi. And I said, hey, Nairobi, by the way, do you need a roommate? I did not want to come to Georgia. My family was in Georgia at the time. We were in Union, Georgia. I was like, I don't want to go to the countryside. Somebody help. And she said, yes, I'm actually looking to, share expenses and things of that nature. So I moved to DC, no savings, no plans. And as soon as we got there, I think it was August, I had a month to find rent money for September. So I applied and I found a job at the Pan American Health Organization. But I think what really helped me get into the Peace Corps and explore the opportunity of considering it was not only my sorority sister encouraging me to look into it, but also the fact when I moved to DC, I did not know the Peace Corps headquarters was at DC. So while I was working at PAHO, I took advantage of the fact that they were hosting informationals, they were hosting events with returned Peace Corps volunteers and recruiters so we could learn more about the opportunity. And I attended all of those. I fell in love with the Peace Corps and I applied. I applied while I was in Washington, D.C., and I got accepted and I got my invitation letter February of 2010. And that's when I was invited to serve as a community economic development volunteer in Costa Rica. So it was typically when they talk about the Peace Corps, they say, and it's their slogan, is the toughest job you'll ever love. 100% true. 100% true. It was a very difficult job. We had 3 months of in country training. We were trained on safety, culture, and whatever language of that country that you were serving, you needed to learn. The great thing is that I was raised, of course, in the Dominican Republic, so I had knowledge of the Spanish language, right? But I didn't have professional knowledge. I didn't know how to address, folks within, like, that were diplomats, right? I didn't even understand embassy relations. So we were trained on all of that. And we basically were trained on how to immerse ourselves in a new culture. Even though I was Latina, I was raised since I was 12 in the US. So that's all I knew. And in terms of, how I handle myself, culture, and it was an incredible experience, but it was a lot of work. I literally got there and they typically give you 3 months to get acquainted with the culture, meet other people, understand how they do business, understand the needs of it. We needed to do a needs assessment. So I literally had to interview everybody in the community, had to interview the school board, and I basically served for almost 3 years. So we returned in 2013 and 2012, excuse me, and I extended my service to 6 more months. That's how much I loved it. So I was part of the community economic development team. And what we did was we trained entrepreneurs and we taught English for business and we supported the community with economic development. So it was an incredible experience and I loved it. And if I could, I would do it again.
I think it's outstanding. Certainly, because you've won so many awards, prestigious awards,
Thank you.
your story is everywhere. Just on the Covadova website. I want to make that clear. But you also have a fantastic podcast available on YouTube, available for listeners. You've been written about by prominent publishings. You are absolutely someone who others need to know about. Today, you have been newly appointed to leading Latinas. Oh my gosh, should I say that?
Yes, to the Latina Leads Foundation.
Latina
I'm
Leads
one of the
Foundation.
new board
Let's
members.
Yes, yes, congratulations. I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. I couldn't help
Thank you.
myself when I found out. I was like, "Oh my gosh, how many
Yes.
dancing ladies did I send you?"
Yes. Yeah, it was incredible. Absolutely.
Well deserved. Well
Thank you.
deserved. The foundation is now positioning a number of young girls. Let us know what the project is and how
Absolutely.
people can get involved, please.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for bringing up the Latina Leads Foundation. They are an incredible project. I actually started getting involved with them very recently. It was last year, 2025. And I learned about the Latina Leads Foundation. They're very well known for the work they do in the community here in Georgia. But my business partner from Credit Grants Academy, her daughter was going to their day camps, right? And she was like, "Hey, why don't you bring Leslie, which is my daughter, to one of the Latina Leads camps or one of their workshops?" And I was like, "Well, okay, what is that?" So that's how I started learning about the foundation. And then I, volunteered and donated some of my hours last year to support them with some of their initiatives. They host every March for Women's Month, like a Shark Tank type of competition where they basically develop their own product and they have a panel of incredible women entrepreneurs who are the judges and they divide them in teams. It's just so incredible the work that they do, right? They're really teaching a lot of these Latina leaders, right? How to work with others, how to develop social skills. But as we talk about Latina Leads, they are a nonprofit based in Atlanta, Georgia, and they empower Latina girls ages between 7 and 16 to become active leaders in their community. And they do that through a bilingual platform focused on leadership, self esteem, financial literacy, communications, and entrepreneurship, right? So, through some of the day camps and some of the workshops and experiences they host for our young girls, they tap into some of these areas of growth that our leaders of the future need, right? To really understand world problems, develop conflict resolution skills, and just develop the social skills that they need to thrive in today's society. So in 2026, I accepted to support them even further to deepen my investment in the foundation as a board member. And one of the things that they're doing, which I'm like full in it, is they have an initiative, which is to take 40 young girls to NASA this April, which is incredible to expose them for the very first time to the possibility of dreaming about being in STEM. And Melanie, as you know, you and I did not have this opportunity. And I'm so connected to this particular initiative because I clearly remember when I was an undergrad, I was actually undecided. I did not know what I wanted to do. I just got accepted into a 4-year institution, which, by the way, I didn't think I was worthy of, even though I had excellent grades. It was thanks to my counselor who said, "Why are you applying to community colleges? You have excellent grades." But my SAT score was very low because of the language. I had no idea what I was doing when I did the SAT test. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what is this? So I applied thanks to her, and I actually got accepted, which was incredible. And I remember I actually signed up to be part of the computer science major. That's what I signed up to do. I was the only woman in the room back at that time. It was scary. And I was afraid to ask for help. Once I got to the point of C++ programming, which I could not understand, I was really good with the people piece, right? I just could not understand programming. And I just was very embarrassed to ask for help because I did not see any other women in the room. So when I was in the computer lab, I looked around and I was like, there's literally only men in here. There was only one professor who was a female professor, which I love to see, but really it was a minority when it comes to being in the sciences at that time. And the NASA trip really took me back to be like, what if I had Latina leads in my life, right? Or what if I had the founder of Latinas in Tech, who promotes women of color to be in tech? And what if I had that type of representation? I probably wouldn't have changed my major to business, which is a typical thing that a lot of people do. Um, and I said, I need to take Leslie to this trip so she can have not only the experience of her life, but maybe envision herself. It could be as an astronaut or as a computer scientist or as an engineer, right? So what I did was I proposed to my business partner, who also has her daughter in Latina Leads as a member. I said, let's put together a GoFundMe campaign to raise the $2,000 that we need to pay for this trip, which is what I've been doing since February. And Melanie, I'm very humbled by the support. And we're really excited to see our girls, in NASA.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Your most recent blog, 13 leadership lessons from 13 years in one organization.
Yes, the LinkedIn post.
Fabulous. Oh, even the businesses you chose for the 2025 holiday guide, phenomenal. And I want others to know there's a phenomenal newsletter at covidosabold.com where you can sign up for the Covidosa newsletter. Covidosa in itself is such a wealthy website to visit. So that's C-O-V as in victory, E-D like David, O-Z like Zenith, A. Covidosa.com is the web address where you will see inspiring collaborations with brilliant artists, women of color. Just absolutely phenomenal what Lisa has done.
And the newsletter that we completely revamped, which I'm very proud of. And that was actually in partnership with another women owned agency. They do podcasting, they help you write your books, they do web development and completely help you develop your brand identity. It's called Choose Your Calling. And I worked very closely with Stephanie to completely revamp our landing page for the newsletter. So if you go to bold.com, which is what Melanie was referring to, /community, the newsletter page is going to show up and you can sign up for updates in English or in Spanish, which is really cool. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful example of all the incredible work that a lot of women owned brands are doing out there. And there are a ton of them. And what else, Melanie? Yes, you guys can follow us at Covidosa with a V as in Victor and a Z as in Zebra on all of our social media platforms. YouTube, you can find us on TikTok, by the way, for our younger folks. We're working on it. TikTok is not easy. And we are also on Instagram very actively. And we truly look forward to continuing the work. And actually, Melanie, one of the things that I had to do, because as you know, when it comes to lifestyle brands, we have to completely innovate because consumer behavior changes. The priorities from a financial standpoint of our consumers also changes, especially with increased prices, inflation, changes in family dynamics. So one of the things that Cubidosa is working on is also working to offer leadership development services. They're not available on the website right now, but I'm very passionate about leadership. If it wasn't for the mentors, the women and the men that were in my life over the course of, you know, all these years in my career, if it wasn't for the support they gave me and the guidance they gave me, not only at work, but also in business, I really wouldn't be here today. And I want to be able to do the same for our women out there that are doing incredible, incredible work. So in the future, Coalesce will be providing services focused on leadership development and also access to capital. I'm very passionate about small business grants. I have learned a lot. I've also seen the mistakes that people make when applying for grants, and I want to help them avoid those mistakes. So, really excited for everything Covalesa has to offer in the future.
Your passion is wonderful and it shines through your excellence, your beautiful spirit of excellence. And I just enjoy watching your journey. You inspire me so much. And thank you. Thank you for your generous time to visit us here at Hughes in Business. You are truly a gift. Thank you, Elisa Molina.
Melanie, the gift has been you coming into my life through
Mm.
Digital Jane, connecting, learning about each other's businesses and the incredible work we're doing. And if anyone needs, listen to me, to get their lives together operationally,
Mhm.
okay?
Absolutely. I
Melanie is your girl. One of the things that I've learned is, and I'm turning almost 40. And what I've learned is that organization is going to be key to your success. You are not going to be able to be a multi passionate entrepreneur and do all the things that you're doing without the systems, the process, and the team in place to be able to do them correctly. And mistakes will cost you a lot of money. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay. So if you need to get organized, if you need someone to help you really assess your systems and assess your operations, Melanie's your girl. Melanie, thank you so much for having me.
I thank you. I thank you. God bless you. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening.